countries like, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Asian tigers they were called at that time. And many of these economies sank because of the forex outflows. And in 1991, India itself got affected. In India ran out of foreign exchange. We all know the story. I mean, many of us may know the story about how I think Yashwant Sinha, it was minister, he had to take gold to London and for getting some foreign exchange. And so at that point in time, in 1991, when the Indian economy opened up, one of the biggest concerns for India was forex. To have enough foreign exchange to buy oil, enough foreign exchange to buy aircraft, for example, or defense equipment. This is a major concern for India. So at that point in time, RBI had come up with this policy, which it said, in 92, the India was rupee will be convertible on current account only, not on capital account. So which means that on the current account, the value of rupee will be determined by imports and exports. And we all know that India is one of the major foreign exchange earners on the current account. Is actually current account means what is consumed, something that happens every year, and it's not like something which is an investment. And one of the major sources of inflows for India is actually receipts. Indian workers who are working in US or Middle East are sending back money to India. In fact, there are like many hundreds of thousands of these people in the Middle East that actually send remittances to India every month, literally. And because India's current account inflows in the manufactured products, right, are lesser than the outflows, we have a current account deficit. And the current account deficit, it is something like $500 billion in imports and $300 billion in exports. So it's about $200 billion deficit which is there. Then when the IT service exports started, India was making positive services balance. So you add the remittances and services, India was having a pretty healthy current account, even a surplus for some time. This happened, continued till early 2000s. But then as the Chinese economy rose, many of the US MNCs started getting competition from the Chinese firms. So many of the US firms actually started running from China. And many of the US MNCs, the controlling power of what they will buy from where, shifted to China. Many of the US MNCs. So Indian officers were also reporting to the Chinese offices. And even now that continues. So they have the heavy influence on what a company will do, where they will do. And we are not talking about Indian companies, we're talking about MNCs, US, European, and many other countries. So the current account surplus that India had, for a brief time, took the rupee to about 36 rupees per dollar in 2003, 2004. Maybe a little later, actually 2005, 2006. And many of the IT export companies in India were very nervous even, because they were looking at dollar at 50 rupees and they export $3,000, they make 1,50,000. Now they would only make, 1 lakh. So, but then what happened was, especially after the global financial crisis, GFC, which happened in 2008, where essentially the GFC was caused by excessive lending to housing sector in US. And when people started, defaulting on their loans, the Lehman Brothers crash, which essentially spread around the world, and this caused a lot of pain for the global economy. And at that point in time, the rupee started sinking, basically. And in India also, because the fiscal deficit was high, rupee started weakening for multiple reasons. And inflation was running high, and all kinds of things happened in 2010-11. We all know about how the prices were increasing. So this is the general introduction to what is the RBI's mindset. RBI is very afraid that it will run out of forex. So what happens is, rupee continues to be, the price of rupee continues to be decided by current account flows. So it is floating on current account, but not on capital account. If you look at capital account, a lot of inflows come through FDI. Now, where are these inflows going? That is very important. So these inflows are not changing the price of rupee. That means if 76 rupees is the current account determined value of rupee per dollar, similarly against other currencies. the capital account transactions are done by RBI at that rate. So if somebody brings in, for example, recently we had the investment by Facebook into Reliance Jio platforms, right? On Jio platforms for this data. Now that $5 billion of inflows, essentially what happens is RBI will most of the time just buy up those $5 billion, and in return for that it will give the rupees for investment. If the 5 billion flows into India, if it is outside, it's different. So what happens? The foreign currency reserves go up, right? So somebody who is bringing in dollars, they benefit because our current account is having a deficit. Now, similar situation happened for China, but China has avoided this trap. See, China avoided this trap because they said Chinese yuan is fixed. There is a fixed exchange rate against the dollar. So $1 equal to say 7 Chinese yuan. They have maintained it for more than 30 years almost. Whereas in the rupees case, RBI has been weakening the rupee every year to make our exports competitive. That means exports are not really competitive. So if there is an export company, they may have to become innovative. They must install the better machinery or invent something new to become more competitive globally. But instead of doing that, RBI will say, okay, now let us weaken the rupee. And if rupee weakens from 60 to 65, all exporters think that they are getting more in rupees. The dollar exports won't change. So this kind of thing has gone on for about a decade, more than a decade now, and we are at 75, 76 rupees a dollar. But where is RBI getting the rupees from? So RBI, when there is an FDI or FII, RBI can actually buy the dollars and basically print new money. They can do that. As a Central Bank of India, they can just create new cash and give it to them. But actually RBI buys rupees also. So this happens through open market operations and also through repos. So there are two kinds of things RBI does. One is called the repo and another is called the reverse repo. So what is repo? Repo means we all hear about government bonds, right? So when there is a